This program is brought to you by the A.C. Gilbert Company, makers of American Flyer electric trains and the American Flyer stock car race.
The first railroad to be established in the United States was the Delaware and Hudson. It began service in 1829, but had very little track on which to operate. As railroad equipment improved, trains began to rumble along at a good speed. Oh, well, pretty good anyway. New methods of track laying were quickly developed, and ribbons of steel were soon being stretched far across the continent. Besides the normal hazards of railroading, early travelers were in constant danger of attack by armed desperados.
Come down with your hands up, partner.
Railroad facilities have improved continually. On today's crack trains, there are special cars for every purpose. Many streamliners have distinctive names, such as the Champion and the Dixie Flyer. Railroad stations have also kept pace with modern developments and now offer many services for the comfort and convenience of the weary traveler.
Hey, mister, smash your baggage?
Okay.
Here, boy, check my bag.
There you are.
Carry your trunk, sir?
Attention, trains leaving immediately.
Ticket, please.
Half fare for children.
I've been working on the railroad all the livelong day. I've been working on the railroad.
Can't you hear the whistle blowing? Rise up so early in the morn.
Can't you hear the captain shouting? Time to blow your horn. Folks, you all know that old railroad song. So while we steam along, why don't you sing along? Just follow the bouncing ball.
I've been working on the railroad all the livelong day. I've been working on the railroad to pass the time away. Can't you hear the whistle blowing? Rise up so early in the morn. Don't you hear glow. Dinah, won't you blow your horn? Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Someone's in the kitchen, I know. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah, strumming on the old banjo. Beep-bye, fiddly-I-O. Beep-bye, fiddly-I-O. Beep-bye, fiddly-I-O. Strumming on the old banjo. I've been working on the railroad.
'Tis a morning. 'Tis a morning. Ah, 'tis morning, and all the trains in the railroad yard are fast asleep. Or except Casey's. His engine is slow asleep. Hey. Good morning, Casey.
Come all you rounders if you want to hear the story all about a brave engineer. Casey Jones was the rounder's name. On a high right wheeler he won his fame. Casey Jones, Casey Jones, Casey Jones.
Are you ready?
Ready to start for the Western land.
They're off! They're off!
Out of the junction on the fly, Casey had that look in his eye. The brakeman knew by the engine's moan. The man at the throttle was Casey Jones.
Casey Jones.
Didn't think we'd make it, did you? To right. Nice day, wasn't it?
The rain was coming down 5 or 6 weeks. The railroad track was like the bed of a creek. It slowed him down to a 10-mile gait. And it made the Western Mail exactly 8 hours late.
Casey Jones.
Plowing through the wire,
Casey Jones.
slogging through the mud,
Casey Jones.
plowing through the mud. Take off the brakes. Train's got the shakes. Egad.
Hours behind, there isn't time to fret. Keep knocking at the fire door, don't give up yet. You gotta keep schedule, oh, you gotta keep schedule, oh, you gotta stop taking.
What now, brown cow? Beat it, Bossy. I'm busy. Got a date and I'm late. Go back to your mate. You old cow, you old cow, you old cow. Fresh. Homogenized. Pasteurized. Polarized.
Make up schedule, do not fail. Gotta get to Frisco with the Western Mail. Gotta get to Frisco, gotta get to Frisco, gotta get to Frisco, gotta get to Frisco.
Somebody's on the wrong track. Egad. I'll save you.
No, save me, no.
My hero.
Curses. Foiled again.
What do you know? She-mail.
Casey knew that he was running too fast. He ran through the signal last station fast.
He says, I believe we're gonna make it through, 'cause he steams a lot better than I ever knew.
He who wrecks a train on a hillside is not on the level. Going down. Got it conditioned. Smokes too much. Higher silverware. Hey, Casey, you got company. Anybody we know? Take that. And that. And that. And that. And that. And that. And that. Time out. Substitution. Take this. And this. And this. And this. And this. And this. Everybody off. Everybody off. Well, back to work. Egad. Egad.
Casey came a running up the Reno hill. He tooted on his whistle with an awful thrill. He opened up his throttle just as far as she'd go. Just how fast he was to steaming, we will never know.
What's that coming? Looks like a train. Egad, it is a train.
Down the curb and down the hump, two trains roll up.
Egad!
Better jump, you're gonna be dead.
Hey, Casey, here comes a freight. I say here comes a freight. Don't worry, mate. We won't be late. Egad! Look, 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 look. Freight, freight, freight. So what? So long. Egad! Headaches and heartaches and all kinds of pain. They're just a part of the railroad again. Stories of brave men and over and grand belong to the life of a railroad man.
Casey Jones, is he gonna make it?
If that's Casey, I'm a Rhode Island rooster. Then, cock-a-doodle-doo.
Well, he knew his duty and he finally went west with the Western Man.
Next time, take the train.
आओ बच्चों खेल दिखाए, झुक झुक करती रेल चलाए, सीटी देकर सीट पे बैठो, एक दूजे की पीठ पे बैठो। आगे पीछे पीछे आगे लाइन से लेकिन कोई ना भागे, सारे सीधी लाइन में चलना, आंखें दोनों नीचे रखना। बंद आंखों से देखा जाए, आंख खुले तो कुछ ना पाए, आओ बच्चों रेल चलाए। सुनो रे बच्चों टिकट कटाओ, तुम लोग नहीं आओगे तो रेलगाड़ी छूट जाएगी। भप 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 भक 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 भक। आओ सब लाइन में खड़े हो जाओ। मुन्नी तुम हो इंजन, डब्बू तुम हो कोयले का डिब्बा, चुन्नू मुन्नू लीला शीला सोहन मोहन जादव माधव सब पैसेंजर सब पैसेंजर। रेडे, एक दो। रेलगाड़ी 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 झुक 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 झुक। बीच वाले स्टेशन बोले रुक 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 रुक। धड़क धड़क लोहे की सड़क, धड़क धड़क लोहे की सड़क, यहाँ से वहाँ, वहाँ से यहाँ, यहाँ से वहाँ, वहाँ से यहाँ। झुक 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 झुक। उड़ाए छाती पार कर जाती बालू रेत, आलू के खेत बाजरा धान, बुढ़ा किसान हरा मैदान, मंदिर मकान चाय की दुकान, पुलकों की डंडी किले पे झंडी, पानी के खून पंछी के झुंड, झोपड़ी झाड़ी खेती बाड़ी, बादल धुआं मोट कुआ, कुएं के पीछे बाग बगीचे, धोबी का घाट मंगल की हाट, गांव में मेला भीड़ जमेला, टूटी दीवार टट्टू सवार। रेलगाड़ी रेलगाड़ी बीच वाले स्टेशन बोले रुक 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 रुक। धर्मपुर बरमपुर बरमपुर धर्मपुर, बैंगलोर मैंगलोर मैंगलोर बैन, मांडवा खंडवा खंडवा मांडवा, रायपुर जयपुर जयपुर रायपुर, तलेगांव मालेगांव मालेगांव तलेगांव, वेल्लूर 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 वेल्लूर, सोलापुर कोल्हापुर कोल्हापुर सोलापुर, कुदगल दंडीगल दंडीगल कुदगल, मंडीकोटा मंडीपट्टा मंडीपट्टा मंडीकोटा, उंगल मेंडीगोल मेंडीगोल उंगल, कोरेगांव गोरेगांव गोरेगांव कोरेगांव, अहमदाबाद ममदाबाद ममदाबाद अहमदाबाद, शोरनूर 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 शोरनूर। झुक 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 झुक। बीच वाले स्टेशन बोले रुक 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 रुक। धड़क धड़क लोहे की सड़क, धड़क धड़क लोहे की सड़क, यहाँ से वहाँ, वहाँ से यहाँ, यहाँ से वहाँ, वहाँ से यहाँ, झुक 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 झुक।
Listen, Moms, Hot Pockets are exactly what a hungry boy wants in a snack. Premium pepperoni, real cheese, and that buttery garlic crust. They're literally stuffed full of deliciousness. Nothing satisfies like 100% real cheese and 10 grams of protein.
Hot Pockets!
See and hear Thomas and his friends brought to life like never before.
Fizzling fireboxes!
In Thomas's greatest adventure yet, Hero of the Rails.
Gosh!
In a daring race with boastful Spencer, Thomas discovers an abandoned engine.
My name is Hero.
But will he be able to rescue him? And will sneaky Spencer bring them both to ruin?
Silly little engine.
Jump on board for adventure and excitement with a new friend from a far-off place. In Thomas and Friends, Hero of the Rails. Out on DVD on October the 12th.
Just lay the track for a horn be set and it all happens. Look at that, just in time, Hornby's there on the line. Oh, nothing goes like it, nothing grows like it, Hornby. Nothing goes like it, nothing grows like it, Hornby. You have such fun with a Hornby set, watching it happen. Oh, be quick, just in time, Hornby's there on the line. Oh, nothing goes like it, nothing grows like it, Hornby. Nothing goes like it, nothing grows like it, Hornby.
Need a new train set? Then buy the new Western Master by Rosekiel. Comes with small tank engine, comes with a wooden coach, finally a brake coach. The new Western Master by Rosekiel.
Isn't it interesting how cars are hooked together to make trains? The way that railroad men climb on the cars and throw switches, and the powerful engines growling, roaring, pushing and pulling. The railroad is the home of these friendly dragons of the tracks. But trains and railroad tracks are very dangerous, and you should never play near the home of the friendly dragons. The sounds and movements of railroading have always attracted children, watching the mighty engines move their chain of cars along the rails. But these engines and cars are powerless to protect children who come onto the railroad to play. These boys just might be among those who are crippled or killed each year by playing on railroads. They thought it would be fun to crawl under these cars. But it wasn't. And now he may lose his life, or if he's lucky, just an arm or leg. Okay, so it's dangerous to crawl under the cars, says one of the boys. Let's just climb between the cars. It's very dangerous to cross over between railroad cars because you never know when the train might move. Jimmy was almost across when these cars moved, and his foot was crushed. Because he played around the railroad, he may have to walk on one foot for the rest of his life. Playing in an empty boxcar looks like lots of fun. They're sort of like big clubhouses, or so these boys think. But sharp nails and wires stick out from the floor and walls. The heavy car doors can even break your arm or leg. Then you would have to go to the hospital and wear a cast for a long time. What if you didn't get hurt by the door closing? You might just be locked inside and shipped across the country for a week or more in darkness and without food. Boxcars are not play toys. Rushing along the rails, the Friendly Dragon uses these same boxcars to bring a bicycle for a boy or girl, a washing machine for Mom, and a new car for Dad. The powerful dragon doesn't want to hurt children, but his engineer cannot stop the train quickly. Pulling his long string of cars into the night, the Friendly Dragon uses his headlight to warn everyone that he cannot jump off the rails to get out of their way. Railroad men drive the big diesel dragons very carefully because they do not want to see anyone hurt. It may not look dangerous to walk on a rail when there isn't a train coming, but boys and girls have slipped and hit their heads on the tracks. Many of them learn the hard way not to walk on railroad tracks. You can also get your foot stuck in a railroad switch. Then you look down the track and there is a train coming toward you. The engineer would put on the emergency brakes, but he might not be able to stop in time. What do you think would happen? Some bridges are built to carry people and cars. Railroad bridges are just for trains, not people. On most railroad bridges, there isn't room for boys and girls to stand while a train goes by. Don't ever go on a railroad bridge, because there isn't a place for you to go if a train does come. You could even fall between the railroad ties and couldn't get off of the bridge in time. Yes, there are many ways that you can get hurt on the railroad. Take these boys who wanted to see what it looks like from the top of a boxcar. If one of them were to fall, he would be hurt for a long, long time. It's fun to jump, and jumping from one boxcar to another looks like fun, too. But if a locomotive should suddenly move one of the cars,
Look out, boys!
the same could happen to you. These boys weren't thinking when they put a rock on the track to see what would happen to it. A train can be knocked off the tracks, even by such a small thing as a rock. Never put anything on the railroad tracks. This rock hurt somebody. A railroad man's work car crashed and sent him to the hospital. You wouldn't put a rock on the tracks if it would hurt your dad. Always stay away from railroad cars, especially cabooses. Don't do like these children. They found a railroad fusee, a special kind of flare, and just wanted to see how it worked. Mary is not nearly as pretty as she once was. Her face is scarred with burns from the fusee. Her brother Mike hasn't been able to see since he lit the flare. He may never see again. It's very important for railroad trains to run on time and move safely. Railroads carry many valuable items, sometimes in trailers that ride on railroad cars, called piggyback cars. When it's time for the trailers to be lifted off of the railroad cars, the trailers are quickly driven to the store, unloaded, and the goods put on the shelves for all of us to buy. That's one of the reasons railroads are so important to America. That's why it's important for you to stay clear of the railroad tracks. On the tracks near their school, these boys have found a railroader's special signal that is attached to the rail. When an engine runs over the signal, it lets the engineer know that he must slow down. But Pete took the signal just for fun. And look what happened. This train wreck may have killed an engineer, fireman, or brakeman, maybe all of them, just because Pete took the signal off of the track. On the way home, Pete decided to find out what was inside of the thing he took off the track. He tried to open it by hitting it with a hammer. When Pete hit it, it exploded, and he lost his hand, and will not be able to play ball for a long time. Now, there are lots of good things to throw: footballs, baseballs, basketballs. But these young boys have thrown rocks and hit a train window and hurt this boy and girl's mother and dad. They've been injured by the careless actions of a couple of guys who probably will be arrested. How would you have liked it if it had been your mother and dad who had been hurt? Here are two older fellows who broke the lock on a switch just to see how it worked. Then they left the switch so that the next train would go on the wrong track. This express train is now going to hit this tank car full of gasoline. Because the boys threw the switch, it's going to crash and kill the two railroad men in the engine. The railroad is not a playground. Playing on railroad tracks, boxcars, and bridges, playing with switches, flares, and signal lights can be very dangerous. What happened to these boys and girls does not have to happen to you. Do not play around railroad tracks and equipment. Railroading is an important part of America's history. Famous people like Buffalo Bill, Casey Jones, and Abraham Lincoln once worked for railroads. Railroads will help shape America's space-age future. Motion pictures and interesting books can tell you about modern railroading. Another good way to learn is model railroading. Find out about railroading the safe way by building and running your own trains. And be the Friendly Dragon's helper by warning other children about how dangerous it is to play on the railroad.
Alle passagiers instappen, de trein gaat vertrekken. Nee, stop! Stoppen! Nee! Stoppen jongens! Nee, stop!
Weet je het verhaal niet meer te eindigen? Laat dan de man met het pistool de scène inkomen.
Ja, en wat dan?
Ah, ik weet het ook niet. We gaan eraan.
AC Junior verlaten und Zentren van Ingolstadt. Olympen naar nu, Giro, Giro. La montagne va le sur les rouchous. Et la joie d'enfant est renversée.
Trae el circo y vamos.
Opetta, opetta.